Greetings everyone and welcome back to Going Medieval and of course to the town of Woven Tales, where in the last episode we actually got a decent amount of progress done. I was quite surprised with how quickly we managed to progress work on the new, the kind of footprint of the Great Hall and of course our new chapel, though there are some design concerns that I will have to redress in a future episode. Right now it's functional. I think that's good enough for the time being. Instead, I would like to focus on, clearing some extended problems. They're not the worst. They're not thorns in our side just yet, but they are kind of getting in the way of the projects that I can begin undertaking right now. One of the big ones, one of the big future projects is to build a proper temple for the Oak Brethren, but that is going to have to wait because everything is kind of slowing down a little bit, and I want to address that. Chiefly, we have three problems that are plaguing Woven Tales. One, we're running out of bedrooms. If anyone else joins the colony right now, I haven't got anywhere to give them to sleep, and that is a bit of a concern. Two, we're running out of storage, although right now we've got a little bit of space. It fills up incredibly fast. One raid will completely fill it up, and if we do any kind of large-scale resource gathering, we can't haul it all in. It just chokes the storage stockpile, and that introduces further inefficiencies as people have to run to and from to just gather enough resources to do a job rather than just hauling the whole thing in one go. And thirdly, we're running out of clothes. Although that isn't too much of a problem right now, everyone is in winter clothes. We don't have much as far as summer clothes. Now, some of the problems are going to be easy to fix, and some of them are going to require some building. And in fact, I think we're going to start off with one of the easiest problems to fix, and that is the bedrooms. Quite a few people have suggested that we build what I can only describe as basically an apartment block of slowly stacking more and more bedrooms on top, and we could easily create access to those bedrooms from the back here, but I don't know, that doesn't feel in any way authentic to the kind of theme that we're going for here in Woven Tales. So I'm gonna straight up just put a red line through that one. We're not gonna create an apartment complex in my castle, all right? However, we do need to do something, and I don't think the immediate fix is to build more bedrooms. Instead, I think we're going to take advantage of the fact that in Going Medieval, unlike a lot of similar games, where a person might have a bedroom that is their bedroom and it is their joy, their pride, and they arrange it to their own specifications. Perhaps they've got certain likes and dislikes, and you'll furnish it according to those. In Woven Tales, no one really cares about the room. They only care about the bed as long as they're in it. So we have some options for hot swapping, basically. And the way we're going to do this is we're just going to put some of the people in Woven Tales on a nighttime schedule and some people on a daytime schedule. And as long as half the colony is awake in the night and is asleep at the night and half the colony is asleep in the day, and those sleeping times don't overlap, then we only need half as many rooms as we've got people, which will actually give us quite a buffer for quite some time. Now, we do have a couple of people that particularly like the day. I don't believe we've got anyone who particularly likes the night, though. So we've got Pepsa and Russell absolutely, positively have to be on a day's schedule. So let's just make sure that that's the case. And you know what? We're going to use Pepsta's one as the default here. We're not going to have the kind of schedule drift that I usually like to add a little bit of organic movement to people. Not everyone goes to bed at exactly the same hour. But since we're going to have basically two shifts, I think it's going to be a little less noticeable anyway. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So Pepsa and Russell are guaranteed to sleep at night. Now, one of the things I would caution to make sure of is you don't send everyone who does a certain job to sleep at the same time, because if that job is some sort of prerequisite to another job, let's say, let's just create some sort of random hypothetical here. Let's say we didn't have any bricks, and there was a specific job for making bricks, and only the people awake in the day shift made bricks. Well, that's fine. You're probably going to have constructors across both shifts. Let's say all the bricks got used up in the day. Well, now the constructors at night can't build anything made of brick because there's no one to make the bricks, because no one does that job at night. Probably the biggest culprit with this is cooking. If you're operating a little bit closer to your kind of meal threshold, we're not. We've got a fairly large stockpile of food, so it doesn't actually matter too much if we have all the cooks awake at the day. But this is something that generally you're going to want to bear in mind, especially if you're operating a little bit closer to the line. But we will go ahead and make sure that we at least have one cook awake in the day, one cook awake at night. And you know what, Belial, I think we're going to go with Belial and Dr. Lady Terra. You can be awake at night, because that also makes sure that some of the botanists are awake at night, because Pepsi is definitely going to be awake in the day. So let's go ahead and set this one up right now. So Dr. Lady Terra and Belial, I'm just going to go ahead and set up a sleep cycle for you. So let's have you going to sleep around about the time that everyone else is waking up, and we're gonna schedule in a bit of time for you. Dr. Lady Terra, I may actually give you a little bit more time to sleep than Belial does, because you are a little bit more tired than Belial most of the time. And 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. That should do you nicely. You are going to miss out on a little bit of anything time at the end of your work day, but you can stay in bed for a bit longer than Belial is going to. Let's copy that over, and then I'll just adjust that accordingly. I do want to make sure that they always have time for leisure, just to take care of their basic needs insofar as having recreation or religious observances taken care of. Now, Manu, what do you do? You're one of the cooks, so let's make sure that you are on the day cycle. There we go. Actually, your leisure time is lining up quite well. That should be pretty good. So everyone is, although I don't think it actually happens in this, I could imagine that at some point having leisure time and building bonds of friendship is going to be a thing that you're going to care about. So we're going to keep an eye on that and try to make sure that people have time for leisure activities that kind of sync up with each other. Let's go with Fui and Malachi being on separate schedules as well. Fui, you can go ahead and join the night crew. Malachi, absolutely on the day crew. And then River Knight, it doesn't really matter over much, but just to keep things nice and even, you can be awake at night time. Let's have a quick look there. You're an ascetic. Okay, that's fine. There we go. So that is already problem 1 solved. Now, problem 2, and indeed problem 3, kind of the same thing, really. We can try and alleviate some of problem 3, that is the lack of clothes, and indeed the lack of anything that is related to a craft, by just reorganizing our priority queue. Just making it a little bit tighter, a little bit more efficient. But I think one of the best and most the biggest bang for buck solutions will be to give them specific crafting workshops, which will give a very big bonus to the speed that they can perform any craft. Now, let's have a quick look at the requirements for that. A workshop. You need at least a workstation, one workstation, 2 wall tool shelves, and no other workstation, bed, or shrine. So we are going to have 1 room per task then. That is a little bit of a potch, but and the smallest space that we could realistically do for a workstation like this, which is only 2x3, that wouldn't be too bad, because you can make it a 3x3. They'd have a door leading in, some tool shelves on either side, and the workstation. But not all of the workstations are that shape. We've got over here a 2x5, for example. And over here, I believe it is a 3x4. Yes. Okay, so we're going to have to make some variable size rooms. That is going to be... it's going to present us with some interesting problems to solve. Right, give me a second to lay down to measure a blueprint, and I shall bring it back and discuss the whys and wherefores. Okay then. Right, we're going to pause this because there's a lot to unpack here. I am going to go all in on a much larger storeroom. Now, I am still open to the idea that we may have to further expand this, and we can do that by going down. And that's why I've sunk these pillars in very strategic places, is because I will then be able to mirror this position of the support pillars on any cellar that we expand into, and it'll make excavating the lower area much easier. These will have support beams going across them to support a floor which will be built upwards. We are making this all out of brick. We're going for another brick building this one. Inside this entire floor is just going to be storage. This may or may not be a walled off structure. I haven't decided on that yet, so I've left some of that open to possibilities, but a lot of these walls are going to be stripped down. This one here is going to be replaced with stone, and same along this central line here, and then all of the support pillars will be put into place. Above this, we are going to have room for several workshops, including very large ones. They will support quite a lot of very standard 3x2 size workshops, or a couple of like asymmetrically designed much larger workshops, double workshops, so on and so forth, to accommodate the large workstations. But this is going to be a lot of work for our people to do, and it's also going to require an awful lot of stone. So we actually need to get all of that being excavated. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, actually, let's just have our peeps dig this out, so that they're only going to be digging from inside, and then we're going to take that entire layer down, hopefully fairly quickly. Now, we are going to be building this as quickly as we can. This is going to be the only project that we're working on for a little while, to try and maximize how quickly we can get it all done, because we don't want any of our current stockpile to be unsheltered for any real length of time, if we can avoid it. I would also like, where possible, to go ahead and start laying down the wicker flooring, because we're still going to need the wicker flooring in here, just to prevent any of the items that are going to be stored in here from decaying. We will need to move you along, and for the time being, I'm just going to pop this workstation just over there, just so that we do still have a butcher's up and running, but eventually that's going to be moved into the dedicated cook area. In fact, I believe that is a requirement for something to be considered a kitchen. Now, as for windows down here, I'm not going to put any windows along these walls, or these ones, so that's why I filled those in right now. If I do want windows in the rest, well, I haven't filled in the entire wall, so we can build around what's there. But there will be doors down here, so let's go ahead and grab some doors. There we go. There we are. Let's get these ones down as well. Gonna have to rotate these ones very specifically, because the game has no idea what I'm trying to do anymore, because the walls don't make sense to it. Fair enough. There's lots of things I do that don't make sense. Right, okay, so let's speed things up a little bit. We should be able to get most of this sorted relatively fast, though sadly we are going to see a couple of items just being dropped around the place, which is a little bit of a potch. On that note, I'm thinking that I would actually like to adjust the rate that some people will do these jobs, specifically things like smithing, tailoring. I'm actually going to, if you've got a focus in it, you can do it at a much higher priority, especially carpentry there, for example. That's going to be a primary job. But since you've got such high relevant skills, I'm going to have them on threes as well, to try and just speed up some of the work that needs to be done. Now, we should see only 4 people asleep. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely wonderful. We're going to see lots of things getting done all the way through the day and night. No more are we going to have long periods of just idleness like we're playing The Sims. Because that's basically the way that I dealt with it. The moment night came, I would just click on to the higher speed and just wait, because that's all there was to do. At least now we're always going to have something happening. It might not be too riveting, but still, we'll be making progress at all times, which is quite nice. Now, we are not going to move these out of here just yet, but for the time being, we're just going to leave them where they're at. Now, I may have to reposition some of these fields, and in fact, yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's grab this one in particular, and I'm going to just shunt it back a little bit. This one, much the same, shunt it back a little bit, but also shrink it down on this side. In fact, let's shrink all of these down on this side. There we go. Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't care. I have to very specifically do that for each one. Oh well. But whilst I'm getting all this done, I'm going to let you go, and I shall bring you back when there's more to report. But I imagine there's going to be an awful lot of resource gathering in my immediate future. And here's a little bug that I've been quietly dealing with for a little while, but then I suddenly realized that actually it might actually be useful for a couple of people who've also picked up the game at this point to understand that this does happen. And if you suddenly find that your haulers are constantly busy, judging by the side over there, but nothing ever seems to be hauled, it's because sometimes they get stuck like this. Just sat there, moving things back and forth. Perhaps you're doing the equivalent of moving sand from one pile to another using tweezers, just for the sake of doing it. One thing that you can do to try and alleviate this is, well, actually, I can see that it's part of a problem here already. We're going to shrink these zones right down. And this one as well. We're going to try and get it to the point that there just isn't ash here to be stored. Let's shift them around like that. And hopefully, no, still broken are you, perhaps there? Well, then poop. Let's try and reduce it to that point. Are you going to be done? No, Pepser is actually completely broken. Fine then, Pepser. No more storing of the ash. Just leave it on the floor. It's fine. This is like one of your main jobs, but it's fine. I guess I'll live with it. However, we are making some decent progress. As you can see, we've already got support beams, and we're starting to put up the floor for the workshop area. Now, this will also obviously double as a roof for the storage area. And once these are up and running, I will be taking down these walls, replacing these with the proper stone pillars, and getting all of that done. But I do need quite a lot more wood, ideally in storage, before I commit to stripping away this roof, because the moment I do that, everything in storage is going to start to decay, and that's not really what I would like to see. But thankfully, there we go. Peps has suddenly got a proper job to do. Marvelous. Now, that does happen with other things, though it's most egregious with ash that I've seen so far. Other storageables, or storables, I should say. Storageables, my lord. I can English. Most other storables don't tend to kind of generate those cyclic jobs that just never end. But I think I've caught them doing it with sticks before, so I'm assuming that it can happen with anything. And for those who might be wondering why I decided to push back our grow zones, it's because I want some stairs over here. And you know what? We can go ahead and pop those down right now. We're going to want some limestone block stairs. One there and one here. And exactly the same will be on the other side opposite the door. And we will then have some wooden floors just connecting them like that. And this will be one of the main ways that people at the crafting area drop down and get into the storage area. I'm probably not going to have any stairways internal to the structure. You can just go down and then go through the arch. Just because arches, you know me. Okay, we have finally finished the entire, ceiling for the first floor. Now, we are going to have to adjust the zone size because we're going to have possibly internal walls here. At the very least, I haven't fleshed this out with flooring to keep any of the stored items from decaying. So let's just make sure that that's all okay. Yes, it's very messy over here, and yes, that does irritate me, probably as much as it irritates you, but we're just going to have to live with it for a little bit. That has significantly expanded out our potential storage room, though. Quite wonderfully, actually. Now, we do have some research available, and aiming for cooking might not be a bad decision right now, as that is going to be one of the rooms that we're going to be getting to next, and that will give us access to lavish meals. And toward that end, we're going to have to go through food preservation. So sure, let's go ahead and unlock that for now. Do we actually have any meat in storage? I don't think we do. No, we really don't. Do we have any potential hunting animals around? Let's have a look. I'd ideally like hares. There we go. Or deer. Wolves fight back, and so let's not bother. If we don't have to, let's not. All right, okay, there's some deer over there as well. Wonderful. Okay, now with all of this extra storage space, our people should be able to get quite a lot of the resources in all in one go now, but we do have the second floor to start working on. Right, so let's just get these little bits in place, and we're going to want a proper wooden floor. There we go. Now, up here, we are going to have some more doors, but I think we're going to be going with wooden walls for these areas. Now, we could have a bit of an overhang, and I'm not against that. I think that might even be quite nice. A little bit of an overhang maybe on one end over the other, or I could go for both sides. If we do that, though, I would want to have the walls supporting it. I mean, there's precedent in the real world. You can get the overhang to look right. It's a matter of dimensions, really. I always find that in games with more of a blocky granality to the structures, the overhangs look too severe. But we can see what we can do. We can experiment, I guess. Let's try something like this. We're going to be going with a wooden structure up top here instead of stone, because I definitely feel that feels right. We will need some flooring to be expanded if we're going to have an overhang as well. There we are. Now, if I absolutely need to, I can expand the wall out a little bit more. And maybe we'll do it just on the corners at the very least. Now, this is cutting into our walking space on either side of the structure, but I think this should be fine overall. There we go. Now, this is absolutely ridiculously huge compared to everything else we've built. Still, it's going to allow us to get a lot more work done in the future, which is going to be key to getting the other projects that I would like to work on sorted out. Every now and then, we're going to have to, take stock of the town, decide what's working well, what's perhaps not working at all, or what could simply be improved, and try our best to fix those problems before they get too unmanageable. Certainly, we don't want to be struggling through, when there's generally going to be an easy fix for something. Now, we don't need to put the doors down just yet, but I would like to put down these walls. Now, I'm going to be putting in windows. The windows are a lot easier to add afterwards, though. As some of you were quite right to point out, is when it comes to windows, you can just add them to a wall and without having to deconstruct the wall first. They'll replace the wall with the window. That doesn't work in reverse, however. If you want to put a wall in place of a window, you have to put a wall after you've deconstructed the window. Sadly, I can demonstrate that here by just hovering over it. It shows yellow there. However, down here, for example, if I wanted to replace this, I can't put that into the same tile as the window, whereas I could put the window in the wall tile. I'm not sure why it's only one way, but either way, definitely something to be aware of. So you can happily and quite safely build a whole structure out of walls first and then decide where the windows need to go afterwards. Now, we're going to have an internal space here that we're going to want to try and address. Now, part of that is going to come down to the sizes of rooms that we're going to place down. So we could just start deciding what kind of workshops go where and then move everything else around it. Or we can go ahead and pop down a roof right away. And that might actually be a nice idea, thinking about it. We could just go ahead with that. You know what? I am actually starting to like that overhang with just the corner supports. It looks right with the corner supports. I think without those, it wouldn't look right. Honestly, I'm starting to like the idea of putting in some windows down there as well. Let's have a look at window options for us then. We could have central windows. There's something actually quite nice about just having simple central windows going all the way down. Or we could alternatively have double windows either side with the central pillar. But I think just having central windows, I don't know, it has the right feel for me. Let's add all of these. Now that I've already kind of penciled in the design I wanted, I could just draw out the wall and it would only replace the spots that I designated as free, or rather hadn't already planned a window in. But it looks like they've made some bloody quick progress on the upstairs as well. I'm really, really happy with this. Now, what kind of roof are we going with? These... We don't need to go with thatch. We absolutely do not need to go with thatch. I'm thinking maybe a wooden roof. I know, that's very expensive. But I feel that this works for a area like this. Oh, we can't get a roof that wide. Should have thought about that one, I guess. Perhaps we'll be able to do something similar, though, with just using the tiles. Now, the way the tiles work, yeah, we can make this roof much, much longer like that. However, we're going to have supports there to make that work for us, which is going to introduce a bit of a potch for the design. We could have something like that, for example. Alternatively, we could just have the roof come all the way up, and then maybe just a wooden wall going up. That might work out for us, actually. We could definitely try that. Let's add this across. Well, we're not going to be able to put that down just yet. All right. Well, we're definitely going to need some internal walls to add supports to so that we can put a roof up on top. Let's grab you. Now, let's add these in for now, just every 4. That'll give us more than enough room that way to build the supporting structure that we need. That said, we know there's going to be walls down here, and each room will have its own space. But I don't yet know how I'm going to want to build that. There may be a couple of other concerns. Now, one of the things I want to see is would just a flat roof like this line up? It would. Wow. And then I could stick another roof on top. Ooh. Alternatively, if we made this I'm really liking this. We've got some good design options available right now. Though getting up there to build this is going to be a potch for our peeps, but I'm sure they won't mind. It's for a good cause. Let's get these in position. What I'm thinking is we're going to have this wall. Now, I'm going to have to shunt the support walls back a little bit as a result of this. But we're going to do something like this. And then right on top, we're going to have a regular roof, I'm thinking. But it'll have a different grade. It'll have a different gradient based on that. So it should look quite nice. Let's actually see if we can ghost this image out and see how that would line up. Because what I would like is for there to be a shallower grade there. No, it didn't really give me what I want. Maybe we are actually going to have to bring it all the way out to get that kind of gradient. It'll be worth it though if we can make that work. Let's take these away. I don't usually keep you around for the design part like this, but I think it'll look amazing. So let's try. Really, will you stop breaking all those walls? My lord. I think it'll look really, really nice, and it's nice every now and then to do something a little bit differently and actually show you how I go about building in the off-camera work. Damn it, doesn't quite line up. Oh, that's a shame. We might not be able to make that happen then. It looks like it's never quite gonna fit the way that I'm hoping it would. Okay, well, still, we can still have some fun, at the very least. Okay, it's not going to be as convenient to set up as I would have liked, but it's fine. Right, let's get the rest of this room done, though. Carry on, peeps. Now, as I said, we need to decide what's going where. So let's first move the tailor's workbench up here. Now, Taylor, you can go ahead and be right about here. That'll be lovely. I would like to have a brazier in there. Now, we've got a couple of options for braziers. I can even have a metal brazier. Ooh, now we're cooking with fire. Possibly, literally. Let's have a metal brazier just behind. We can now draw out the room shape. Do we want a double door? Sure, let's have a double door. Our tailor is an important individual, so they deserve to have a workshop with a double door. And we'll pop that there. Now, we are going to want some shelving units. Specifically, we want tool shelves. Let's find where those are. Wall, tool shelf. We could have straight up 3 on the back wall if we wanted. We could then have some torches in here as well if we would like to. And maybe 2 windows there, or maybe windows behind the actual crafting station. Let's have a look at what they would look like. Let's go for the wooden windows. We could just have those there, or maybe right over the table itself. Now the problem with the windows is they're a little bit thinner, Still, I think that could look quite nice, actually. Alternatively, we could have the windows like that instead, and that would also look okay. We could have a double window over there, for example. We'll see how that all pans out, though, for now. Once that's done, we can start thinking about just sealing this part off with the roof. Now that we know the dimensions that we're going to be building the roof to, we can just put that roof down, especially because this roof is going to be built in sections for all intents and purposes. So this one shouldn't be too difficult for us to manage. What we could do at the very top of the roof is we could maybe do something with merlons to create a nice effect. Yeah, we could maybe pull off some interesting designs in much the same way that I've done with my Valheim series over on Aavak After Hours, my StreamVOD channel, where we use angles and components that weren't really meant to be used like that to create an interesting visual effect. Yeah, I think we can definitely get something along those lines going. All right, let's get this all built up. That will look lovely. There we go. Now, the other thing we could do, of course, is we could actually allow this to be open, but I don't think that would necessarily be quite as pretty in this as you can make it in Valheim, with like the sort of cross beams creating a real, strong Viking look to it. They wouldn't fit here even if we could achieve something like that, but we don't have the sorts of support structures to really make that work. That being said, maybe some elevated wooden support beams wouldn't be amiss. That's a possibility that I hadn't really considered. That is definitely a possibility I hadn't considered. Either way, though, we now, or we should, soon have a workshop that, actually, we can turn off the roof to get that effect. We should now have a workshop in here, I would imagine. Yeah, room created workshop. Let's have a look at you. 144% work speed. Well, that is definitely going to help. Okay, now let's have a look at the next workshop that we're going to want to move over. We've got in here, we've got the bowyer and the pole turner for spears and clubs and the likes. I don't think we're going to rebuild that. I just don't see us using it very much. So let's go for the bowyer instead. Let's pop you down here. Now let's try and make these workshops a little bit different. Let's not have them all be exactly the same design, otherwise it's going to be a bit boring. There we go. I like a little bit of variance, just to ordered chaos visually, I guess, is what I go for. We'll have the windows in the same place though. I think that's going to be an important one. We will also have a metal brazier. This one can exist right there, I think. Can I actually select that? There we go. Have the metal brazier right next to the workshop. And the tools can be right behind in much the same way, but this time they'll be betwixt two windows. I think that's going to look lovely. And this is generally how I'm going to go ahead and set up all of the workshops. So I shall bring you back when we have everything transplanted up here and all of the various builds copied over, because that's going to be a chore. Hopefully, we will have a pretty nice effect. But the main thing is that everything is going to be getting done so much faster with dedicated workshop rooms. So I shall bring you back in a couple of minutes when I'm done with all of that. Hunger comes calling. When Greta arrived, her bones were prominent and her hair fell out in clumps. Woven Tales people stared at this wretched, starving soul. Desperation was writ on Greta's face, and she pleaded, "Would you take her in?" "Of course we will. It's not even a question, really. Though we will have a quick glance. There's no downside to this at all, other than having an extra mouth to feed. And we have more than enough food for that. But as you can see, our workstations are coming along very, very rapidly. I've gone ahead and I've decommissioned this entire area. There's only one workshop that has not been represented in the design so far, and that is still buried deep in here over there, the blacksmith. I'm slowly making the storage area more pretty as well. Things are coming along rather nicely, I must say. But let's find out a little bit about Greta, shall we? First and foremost, we need to find out who Greta is. Please say hello to Mousy Karina, and thank you ever so much for being a patron supporter. You are our 32-year-old, 89-kilo weighing, 181-centimeter measuring bloodthirsty armourer. What on earth was your history? Bloodthirsty armourer Greta began with Kyoboili. I'm terribly sorry, I'm not at all sure how to pronounce that. Leather boiled in wax and sturdy enough to give a commoner some battlefield protection. Later, she progressed to brigandine armor, riveting on metal plate to shield the heart. Greta was also serviceable with a bow. When the world changed, Greta recalled the healer lacing boils. Flagstones had run red as he opened veins, cursing the French and the king. Finally, Greta took the powders and purifying herbs from the dying healer's blackened hand. Greta was left holding the bloody razor. Wow, okay, that's a bit of an interesting one. Pseudonym, the Kitten of Thorpe. Cute, soft, endearing. Mousy Karina, really. The Kitten of Thorpe. Mousy Karina, oh my lord, is certainly adorable, and people flock to her to pet her. But beware, Mousy Karina also has claws, and often leaves a trail of destruction behind her. Wow, okay, well, interesting. Your perks are washout, you don't like the rain, and brawny Masquerina is powerful and carries out tough jobs effortlessly. Well, that is fantastic news, because we certainly have a lot of tough jobs to do. I think we're going to have you on the day schedule. Let's get you all set up there. Now, as for your items, let's go ahead and try to control this a little bit. Where are you exactly right now? You're grabbing some food. You know what? I'm going to let you eat your meal. You are ravenously hungry. There you go. Not hungry at all. Wow, from ravenous to not hungry, that's not how it works, game. My lord. Either way, I would like you to immediately drop your headgear, drop your whatever you're currently wearing. I'd like you to go grab one of the summer items, actually, if you could. And a cap for now, I guess. We aren't going to set you up with much in the way of armor just yet. I've gone ahead and I've made a couple of new armor types. For example, heavy armor for all of our melee warriors. Actually, you should be on light armor there. And light armor for everyone else. Now, Masquerina, what do you prefer? You're a much better marksman than you are a melee specialist, although you do kind of want to be a melee specialist. I'm going to have to require that instead, right now, you go for marksmanship over that. There we go. Please go and grab everything that you can, and I'm going to wait for you to step away from your old clothes before I allow them again, so you don't immediately put them back on. Sadly, the settlers in going medieval tend to only look at the distance to an item rather than its quality. They don't care how good an item is, only whether it matches their allowance. So, for example, where I've said you can only wear it down to 51%, they're not going to try and put something on that's 49. They'd rather go naked. However, if there's something that is got 52 durability, and something else that has 100% durability but is one tile further away, they'll put on the thing that has 52% durability. It is rather frustrating, but I've got a plan on how we might be able to overcome that particular problem. Golden Age. Woven Tales is now the most influential settlement dominating the entire region. Pilgrims travel from far and wide to witness its splendor. Fantastic! They heard about our amazing crafting area. Master craftsmen from across the world. Only wish they could live somewhere like Woven Tales. Ah, this is a good feeling. Though on that note, it does remind me that we haven't checked in on the world map in quite some time. Let's go ahead and have a quick look. Ah, region influence 100%. We are the most important and influential town in all of these lands. Sadly, there is nothing that we can do with this influence right now. As things stand, we can't interact with any of the towns, but I can only imagine that would be pretty cool, though it may also mean that we're going to start seeing some nastier fights starting to come our way, and that isn't necessarily as grand, I must confess. But on the plus side, we now have everything set up over here. I'm not trying to make any mechanical components just yet because simply put, we can't. However, from what I can tell, that even though we can't actually do that ourselves, we can still queue it up, and they will still dedicate resources to this job that we'll never be able to fulfill, and it will kind of clog the production queue. But look at all of that storage space. I am so happy with this build right now. This is really coming together. Now, we don't know what we're going to be putting in these rooms, so all I'm going to do is prepare the windows, and obviously the roof as well. However, we will very soon, hopefully, be able to pop something in there. Now, do we have much in the way of trees yet to be chopped? Yes, actually, we've got quite a few trees to be chopped. We've also got quite a lot of material to be hauled, so hopefully we can get all of that done before this episode's end. I would love to wrap up today's episode with a completed build in here. On that note, I would actually like to have some support beams there, not necessarily because we need them, just because I want them. And finally, we can get the entire roof there as well. Let's have a look at what that will look like when it's done. You know, it's kind of growing on me. It is kind of growing on me. Just having this empty again. If this was something like Valheim, I would probably have like cross beams connecting the various roof sections. But sadly, the support beams there are the best we can do. But we are now in summer. That was an incredibly chilled out spring. Like nothing seemed to happen during spring. The game just gave us plenty of time to just get everything built that we wanted to build. And I for one, am actually extremely pleased with this great swell of generosity from the game. I can only imagine that the next raid is going to be absolutely brutal as a consequence. The third coming attack. Armour glinted and pennants fluttered, each bearing 3 white crosses. First they prayed, then they purged the faithless. The church was as merciless as it was fanatical. Woven Tales, Sugar Bombs, making ready for battle. I'm so glad that this happened. It felt a little bit sad that we'd got an entire episode without a raid, but look, it is finished. What is quite possibly the first mega project for Woven Tales, a massive warehouse come workshop for all of our craftspeople. I am super happy with the way this looks, even down to the torches on the outside, which gives a little bit of illumination to Woven Tales at nighttime. I am really happy with this. And you know what? This cleft down the middle, it's really grown on me over time. I feel it's very visually stimulating. I like it. I like it a lot, actually, and I think we're probably going to keep that. I may go back on that decision at some later point, but for now, I really like the way that looks, and I can't think of anything better to do with it. So we're gonna be keeping that one. Now, where are our raiders? They are over on the far side, perhaps? No? Or am I just missing them while I'm looking? I am just missing them while I'm looking, it appears. Where are you? Are you kind of all snuck around? Oh, there we are. Right down there with the big old red marks behind them. That's a little bit worrying. We have managed to bring in an awful lot of the materials out here, which is just as well. I really do hope you can scarper past them without them deciding to have a shot at you. That would not be good. Now, they did a couple of things to touch on. Namely, I have researched cooking. So that means in the next episode, we're going to be able to start working on the cook area, and perhaps the next focus will be kind of split between getting the Oak Brethren temple set up and the kitchen. But this was all more or less in pursuit of that goal, in that our storage issues were slowing everything down, as was the slowdown to our tradespeople. Well, I say slow down. They just weren't working as quickly as they could. They were already working, at 100% speed. But this should really help out with that. Furthermore, I've also tailored some of the work orders, so we should be able to get a lot more done. We should be far more efficient at taking care of our tasks. Now, judging by the way our people have been walking, they're coming straight through here, so we may actually be able to use the top of the shrine as an attack route until they move past and get over here. That is actually going to be pretty nice indeed. Okay, time for us to start getting people into position. Russell, I'm going to let you get in there. Dr. Lady Tara, need you and your amazing longbow over here, please and thank you. Manu, you're going to go and pray. I'm going to allow you to do it. Pepster, the harvest can wait. Let's get you down here, please, and thank you. Fui, you're also holding to the stockpile. You're actually almost there, though. However, Mousy Karina, let's not go out and hunt. Let's instead head over here and take up a position just there. That should take care of everything we need. We'll wait for Fui to take care of things. Relocating piles. No, you're not. You're just going to go and stand guard. You're going to stand ready over here, right on top, just so that you can take care of anyone who tries to get up on the battlements. Malachi and River Knight as well. Both of you over here right now, please. Let's get everyone in position as quickly as we can, because those enemies are making pretty quick work of getting over to Woven Tales. Now, we're going to get a chance to see, A, how well our reinforced doors handle things, and also our metal traps, which I'm extremely excited to see in action, actually. Manu, I'm going to give you a little bit more time. Fui, what are you... I know you're hungry, and I am sorry about that, but I need you over here instead. Let's get you over there. Russell, I don't need you to... Well, I'll allow you to get in there, because then when I draft you, you won't... you'll drop the item straight down. Manu, though, I'm not going to interrupt your prayers just yet. That being said, you've got most of your religious activity. We'll see. Manu, you can continue praying. Maybe it'll bring us luck. Let us see how this fight goes down. Oh, you're already getting some really nice hits in there. Some very nice hits. You've actually stalled them completely. Right, Manu's done with praying, so Manu can come up here and help out. This is fantastic. Up here, you've got an amazing range. Oh, my lord. That is absolutely fantastic. Okay, they are uncertain how to approach. And, well, they should be, because this is going to hurt them a lot more than it's going to hurt us. Right, Manu, they're heading down this way, so time for you to get into position. In fact, I'm going to send over Russell to help out with that. Let's get you folks over here, please and thanks. Russell, care you to move? There we are, that'll do. Let's get you into position. Alright, Karina, Pepster, time for you to move as well. Let's get over there. Dr. Lady Tara and Fui can hold things there. Ooh, the trap didn't do much damage. Hasn't done much damage at all. I'm a little bit disappointed. Oh. Are they... They're not attacking the walls. Has it stunned them in a sense? Oh, because if that's the case, I don't mind it. It's not doing a lot of damage. That's amazing. I'm all about stun traps. And let's get you all down there now. Yeah, because it's blocking anyone else getting to the doors. Oh, that is absolutely marvelous. Well worth the metal involved, because they are very expensive traps, to be fair. They're very expensive traps to set up. But that is absolutely worth it in every way. Okay, let's keep you guys together. Now, one of the things is, be aware that sometimes visually, if someone walks above or below a door, it'll open. Are you just bailing, Reynard? I'm not sure, but it doesn't look like they're getting through. Oh, these doors have a lot of health. 500 hit points versus 120. Ooh. Okay. And they might actually be more defensible as well. Maybe they have some sort of damage mitigation properties. Could you... Mouse Karina, could you aim at Clement? Dr. Lady Tara, could you aim at Clarence as well? Clement, rather, not Clarent. Let's try and take them out. Thank you very much, you two. Now, on to Cole, if you'd be so kind. Don't want them to break that door if I can avoid it, because it's an expensive door to make. But my goodness, if they don't have archers, they are in such a bad way. Mind you, that's kind of true in general. If there was going to be any kind of siege, if you showed up without range support, you'd already given up the fight, frankly. Though they are not bailing. I guess this might be a consequence of their religious zeal. They are going to get through the door, though, it seems. I don't think we're going to be able to stun them in time. No, that's a bit of a shame. Still, it was only one door lost, but victory is ours. The beleaguered settlers came under attack in the summer of 1352. The ordeal continued for 5 whole hours. Mercifully, all settlers survived the raid. Dr. Lady Tara Hart was the bravest of the settlers, dealing the most blows to the foe. Thankfully, no settler was even hurt by enemy weapons. But some of the buildings of Woven Tales were destroyed under the bombardment of enemy weapons, a reinforced door in particular, which is a bit of a shame. Right, let's get you all the way down there. You can take them out as they're fleeing, and I will designate this to be rebuilt. A shame, but oh well. Right, well, that was a pretty amazing end to this episode. It has been a fairly long one for me. It has taken a while to get all of the materials in here and the building done, but again, this is kind of foundational work as far as I'm concerned. Doing this is going to save us so much time later on that it was worth doing now. But there we go. We have got a lot of materials to bring in, and just as well, we've got an expanded stockroom to put all of these materials, and indeed all of our workshops can busy themselves with tearing down the items that aren't worth keeping and making more materials for us to get new buildings set up. But I really like those traps. We are going to need more of those. We desperately need more of those. So I need someone to get a high level of smithing, because unfortunately we need a level 20 smith to be able to do that. Also, I did realise that I haven't set up Masquerina. Haha, yeah, sorry about that. I'll take care of that though before the next episode. But yes, our best blacksmiths are level 14. We need a lot of smithing to be happening before we're at the point that we can get all of that taken care of. But that is going to be it from me for today. I really hope you have enjoyed, and please do let me know what you think of our new craft hall. Yeah, I think this is worthy of the title of craft hall. I definitely feel that right now it's kind of putting all of the other buildings in Woven Tales to shame, but we will hopefully be able to expand on this and bring the rest of the buildings of Woven Tales up to standard. But we really have run out of time for today's episode. So, as ever, if you liked what you saw and you want to see more, do consider dropping a like on the video. But until next time, do take care, everyone.